He's got like literally the perfect frame for fighting because he only has muscle where he needs it. It's like he's designed in a lab. Like if you wanted to design a perfect like physique for fighting, I think it's Jon Jones. Jon has tiny calves.
Yes.
They're tiny. They're like almost non-existent. It's the craziest thing. And he works out f***ing hard, just powerlifting, deadlifting, squats.
Joe Rogan is amazed by the intense training session of Jon Jones and for his potential fight with Tom. Watching Jones push his limit sparked Joe Rogan's excitement, not just because of the training itself, but because he believes this fight needs to happen. According to Rogan, Tom Aspinall isn't just a worthy opponent, he's the perfect stylistic matchup for Jones. With Aspinall's speed, technical skills, and knockout power, Rogan sees this as the ultimate test for the reigning GOAT of MMA.
Aspinall's one of the fastest heavyweights. He might be the fastest heavyweight in the history of the sport. I don't think anybody moves like that guy does.
Joe Rogan praised Tom Aspinall's athleticism, calling his movement extraordinary for someone over 250 pounds. He said Aspinall moves in a way that sets him apart from everyone else in the sport. Rogan highlighted his incredible stand-up, knockout power, a black belt in jiu-jitsu, strong wrestling, and well-rounded skills, all while still being young and continuing to improve.
At a 250 plus pound frame, his movement's extraordinary. And that's something you have to deal with. Like, that is a crazy ability. Like, his ability to move, like the way he moves, is so much different than everybody else in the sport. Incredible stand-up, knocks guys out with one punch, black belt in jiu-jitsu, really good wrestler, his everything, and he's young.
Joe Rogan pointed out that Jones isn't a true heavyweight and can fight in the light heavyweight division as well. Rogan explained that Jones still weighs around 230 pounds and could easily make the light heavyweight limit again if he adjusted his diet. He emphasized that Jones hasn't added enough size to be considered a full natural heavyweight, which could be a factor against someone like Aspinall. Despite the size factor, Rogan believes it's still hard to predict against a guy like Jon Jones.
It's hard to bet against Jon. It's hard to bet against Jon. But Jon's not a real heavyweight. Yeah. Jon could make light heavyweight, 100%. He weighs 230 right now, maybe a little less than 230. There's no doubt in my mind that if Jon just changed his diet and went back, he hasn't put that much mass on that you would say 205 is out of reach.
Joe Rogan emphasized that Jon Jones is on another level, calling him a different dude. He pointed out how Jones was able to take down guys like Daniel Cormier multiple times, who was an Olympic-level wrestler, and that proves just how elite his skills are. Rogan described Jones as genetically gifted, but also mentally relentless, with a ruthless competitive nature. He said Jones doesn't fight recklessly or try to brawl. Instead, he fights smart, using strategy to break his opponents down. Whether it's knees, kicks, elbows, or ground and pound, Rogan said Jones will slowly dismantle you, find a way to finish, and make sure you suffer in the process.
Jon dominates everybody. He took down Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier is an Olympic wrestler. I mean, he's a phenomenal wrestler. And Jon took him down. And took him down multiple times. He's a different dude, man. Yeah. This is what we're talking about, like with genetics, right? There's some guys, they're just blessed. And then with Jon, it's blessed and his mind. It's not just, it's his personality, his like ruthless competitiveness. It's like, he's not going to lose. He's going to find a way to get you. And he's going to do it clever. He's not trying to take a bunch of punishment and stand and bang. He's not going to point the center of the octagon. Let's go right here. We'll stand right here. Never going to happen with Jon Jones. You're not getting none of that, son. You're getting knees to the gut. You're getting your knees kicked. You're getting just laced up with elbows where your head's bleeding. He's going to slowly dismantle you and find a way to submit you or punish you, beat you to death on the ground.
However, Joe Rogan raised the question of whether Jon Jones could handle someone like Tom Aspinall, who brings a unique blend of size and speed. At 255 pounds, Aspinall moves with the quickness and fluidity of a much lighter fighter, something rarely seen in the heavyweight division. Rogan noted that while Francis Ngannou may be the most powerful and intimidating striker the division has ever seen, even he doesn't possess the kind of movement Aspinall does. That combination of size, speed, and skill makes Aspinall a serious challenge and a potential problem for anyone, including Jon Jones.
But can he do that with a guy like Aspinall, who's a legit 255-pound natural who moves like he's 80 pounds lighter? He's a freak, man.
Yeah.
Aspinall's a freak. Like, I've seen a lot of heavyweight, even Francis, who's like the greatest, scariest power striker I've ever seen in the heavyweight division. No one's scarier than Francis. Francis does not move like Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is significantly faster than every other heavyweight. That's a real problem.
In another discussion, Joe Rogan pointed out that Jon Jones is no stranger to dealing with speed, as he has faced quick and agile opponents like Alexander Gustafsson and Lyoto Machida during his light heavyweight reign. Rogan explained that Jones has already proven he can handle fast strikers, even when Machida was at his peak. However, he also emphasized that there's a big difference between getting hit by a fast light heavyweight and absorbing shots from someone like Tom Aspinall, who brings that same speed in a 255-pound frame. That kind of power, combined with speed, presents a very different and dangerous challenge.
But John has been used to fighting guys like Alexander Gustafsson, guys who are really fast at light heavyweight. So the speed is not going to be as much of an adjustment. Like, John's used to really fast people. He fought Lyoto Machida when Machida was in his prime. Machida was a lightning bolt, man. And he caught John a bunch of times. But then there's the thing of getting caught by Lyoto Machida is not like getting caught by 255-pound Tom Aspinall.
Joe Rogan further highlighted the almost mythical aura around Jon Jones, referring to him as the boogeyman of MMA, an elusive, dominant force that opponents fear. He joked that even if death hasn't caught him yet, it's probably knocked on his door a few times. Rogan also reflected on Jones's first fight with Alexander Gustafsson, noting that Jones had little to no training camp going into that bout. According to Greg Jackson, Jones barely prepared, yet still managed to dig deep and take over in the later rounds. The rematch, Rogan said, showed what a fully focused, motivated Jon Jones looked like as he dismantled Gustafsson with ease, proving the difference that mindset and preparation make when Jones is truly locked in.
You're calling out Jon Jones.
Yeah.
Right? That's the boogeyman. Like, Jon Jones is the boogeyman, and maybe he hasn't died, but he's probably he's probably knocked on the door a couple of times. Like, what's going on, Death? You in there? When he fought Gustafsson, he had almost no training camp. They said he barely showed up. Like, you know, I talked to Jackson about it, and Greg Jackson was telling me, he's like, he didn't even train for that fight.
Wow.
He didn't even train, and then he pulled that fight off in the 4th and 5th rounds. That's when he really turned it up. So you're talking about a guy who hasn't even been training. And then you saw the real Jon Jones in the second fight. That's motivated Jon Jones, who's like, I'm going to show you what the fuck is really up. And then he just beats the shit out of Gustafsson in the second fight.
Joe Rogan offered a balanced take on a potential Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall showdown, suggesting that both men present serious unknowns. While he believes Tom might be capable of beating Jon, he also acknowledges that Jon could just as easily take Tom down and dominate him on the ground. Rogan pointed out that we still don't know the full extent of Jon's abilities at heavyweight or how Tom would perform in the championship rounds, since no opponent has ever pushed him that far. That uncertainty, Rogan emphasized, is what makes this matchup so compelling.
Jon might beat him up.
He could.
Jon might take him down and fucking ragdoll him on the ground, like, you know.
Jon easily could, because we don't know how good Jon is either.
And we also don't know what happens to Tom Aspinall in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds.
He's
we have zero
because no one's gotten there.
No one's even gotten close.
There's so many question marks, and we don't know how good Jon is.
On the other hand, UFC legend Georges St-Pierre weighed in on the potential matchup, praising Jon Jones as probably the best fighter that ever lived. St-Pierre expressed deep admiration for Jones's all-around skill set and dominance, even saying that if he had to choose one fighter in their prime for a hand-to-hand battle in the Coliseum, Jon Jones would be his pick. He made it clear that it's nearly impossible to argue against Jones's greatness in MMA.
You talk about legacy, like Jon Jones, you know, it's probably the best fighter that ever lives. You know, talk about, if I have to choose someone in his prime that I put in the Coliseum hand to hand, I think it would be Jon Jones. You know, it's hard to deny that.
Georges St-Pierre recognized Jon Jones as one of the greatest fighters in MMA history, but noted that even legends can't outrun time. He highlighted Tom Aspinall's current momentum and remarked that the matchup between the two would be fascinating. As a fan, St-Pierre said he'd love to see the fight happen, acknowledging Aspinall's drive and hunger for victory. He suggested the real question now is whether Jon Jones still has the desire to compete at the elite level. title. St. Pierre added that if the UFC offers the right incentive, the fight could become a massive and exciting event.
However, nobody beats time, and Tom Aspinall is on a hell of a run now. So it's to see how they get a match. You know, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. As a fan, I want to see this fight. I would like to see this fight, but I think Tom is very hungry, and it's up to John to see if he still wants to do this and if the UFC can compensate him good, because I think he deserves it. So
the UFC heavyweight fighter Alexander Volkov believes Tom Aspinall deserves the heavyweight title more than Jon Jones. While people can argue that Jon is a great fighter or that he could potentially beat Tom, Volkov feels the reality is that Aspinall has already won the belt and has patiently waited for his shot. He believes Aspinall has truly earned his opportunity.
So I'm curious, do you view Tom Aspinall as the actual heavyweight champion, or do you still think it's Jon Jones?
In my opinion, Tom is more deserve the champion belt in heavyweight than Jon Jones. I can say Jon Jones is a bad fighter or he can't beat Tom Aspinall or something, but the way Tom Aspinall get exactly in a heavyweight, how he like his way to take this belt in heavyweight, it was more honest to give him. So I think Tom Aspinall deserves it more.
The UFC Hall of Famer Michael Bisping discussed the potential matchup between Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall, praising Aspinall as one of the greatest mixed martial artists of the new generation. While acknowledging Jones's greatness and undefeated record, Bisping believes that every great fighter eventually meets their equal, and Aspinall could be that equal. He emphasized Aspinall's unique combination of speed, agility, and technical skill, which distinguishes him from most heavyweights known for strength and power.
Who wins? Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. I've actually had Tom Aspinall on the channel. And Tom's a small favourite, isn't he?
Yeah, no, and he should be. He should be. Listen, Jon Jones is great, and you can't deny what he's done in the octagon, the career that he's had, and he's technically unbeaten. However, you know, everyone meets their match eventually. And I think Tom Aspinall's the new generation, he's the new breed, and he'll go down probably as the greatest mixed martial arts that we've ever had. He's elite as a heavyweight. A lot of the heavyweights, they're good, they're very strong, they're powerful, but they're not as quick and as agile and as technical as Tom.
Marcus Almeida stated that his strategy would remain the same whether he was fighting someone like Tom Aspinall or anyone else. He emphasized that he would focus on taking the fight to the ground and using his grappling, which he views as his strongest weapon. Almeida, a 13-time jiu-jitsu champion, believes in relying on his strengths no matter who his opponent is, whether it's a top-tier fighter or someone else entirely.
To me, is how you as a heavyweight will prepare for Tom Aspinall with your skills.
I would try to take him down and use my jiu-jitsu. I think my jiu-jitsu, I mean, I'm not just against Tom Aspinall, but I mean, against any fighter that...
You have the game plan.
I mean, the guy that sell popcorn in the arena and the top guy of the arena, my strategy would be the same, you know?
Tap him out. Oh.
So, like, yeah, try to take the fight to the ground where I think I'm better than these guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course, they're great, but I have to try my best weapon, which is the grappling. You know?
Yeah.
Former UFC champion Demetrius Johnson also spoke highly of Tom Aspinall, believing he has what it takes to defeat Jon Jones. While Johnson has always respected Jones for his ability to dominate opponents and control the fight, he pointed out that Jon is getting older and no longer fights the way he once did. Johnson still sees Jones as a potential winner, but he believes a fight with Aspinall would be much more challenging. While Johnson doesn't think Jon is avoiding the fight, he acknowledges that Aspinall is a young, hungry champion and a significantly tougher matchup.
Tom
Aspinall.
Is he really good?
I think he's good.
He can beat Jon?
Jon has always been my favorite fighter to watch because I felt like any person he fought, he can do whatever he wanted to them. Body's, you know, getting older and older, doesn't, you know, fight like he used to. So I think Jon could beat him, but I think it's a way harder fight if he fought Tom.
Don't think he's ducking Tom?
I think Jon is going to beat him, but the harder fight, without a doubt, I believe, is a young, hungry champion, Tom Aspinall.
UFC welterweight fighter Carlos Prates shared his thoughts on the potential matchup between Tom Aspinall and Jon Jones, expressing admiration for both fighters. While he acknowledged Aspinall's impressive skills, Prates made it clear that he's a huge fan of Jon Jones. He praised Jones as the #1 fighter in the world, firmly believing that no one can defeat him.
Bro, you know, Tom Aspinall is really good, but I'm really big fan of John Jones, you know, and John Jones is the kind of guy, #1 in the world. Nobody can beat him. I don't know. I think John Jones.
The former middleweight champion Israel Adesanya also shared his verdict for this fight. He was impressed by Tom Aspinall's power, praising his performance in his previous match. However, Adesanya also warned not to underestimate Jon Jones, acknowledging that he is the heavyweight champion for a reason. He highlighted Jones's size advantage and noted that a fight between the two would be a thrilling spectacle that would drive fans wild.
Who wins, Aspinall, Jon Jones? If that does happen.
I don't know, man, but Aspinall, the way he dispatched of us.
The Russian guy.
Oh my God. But he's the same height as me, if not an inch taller, but thick.
Yeah.
The speed.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I'm like, okay, that's the danger. But again, grappling, he's a black belt.
Black belt. Who give him?
John is.
That's different.
They gotta fight, but if they don't ever fight, we'll never know.
The UFC lightweight fighter Chase Hooper believes Jon Jones is nearing the end of his career, but still has the skill and experience to get the job done. He predicts that Jon will likely neutralize Tom Aspinall's wrestling and outpoint him, although he doesn't expect it to be the most exciting fight. Despite this, Hooper sees it as another win for Jones, showcasing his ability to manage the fight and secure victory.
I mean, Jon's he's on the way out. I still think he gets it done, though. He's just so savvy, and I think he'll be able to maybe deny the wrestling and honestly just kind of outpoint him. I don't think it'll be a super fun fight, but I think it'll be another win for Jon Jones.
Furthermore, on a recent episode of the Overdogs podcast, Jared Cannonier admitted that a win over Jon Jones would solidify Tom Aspinall's place among the greatest heavyweights in MMA history.
This being said, Aspinall could be the greatest heavyweight of all time, and he takes out Jon in the first round.
Could. You certainly could do it.
It's like Jon could be Mike Tyson's age, and people would want to see him fight some young, tough, big f***er just to see him lose.
Last time it was Cyril Gann, and Gann had the best hands and the best feet, and he put Cyril to sleep in 60 seconds.
I don't think Gann had a chance against Jon Jones.
Gann started as a -400 favorite against Jon.
Speaking from a fighter's perspective, Jared Cannonier highlighted that Tom Aspinall poses a much greater threat to Jon Jones than Cyril Gane or any other current heavyweight. He praised Aspinall's well-rounded skill set, noting his fast hands, sharp striking, and strong wrestling. Cannonier emphasized that Aspinall's unique blend of speed, power, and technical precision makes him a serious and legitimate challenge for Jones in any potential matchup.
But as a fighter, myself, Aspinall definitely has way more of a chance than Gann has. He has more of a chance than any other heavyweight. Tom Aspinall is just a much better all-around fighter. On top of that, this guy's a heavyweight. I've never seen a heavyweight strike the way this guy in MMA. Let me put it like that. This guy can wrestle. He can throw hands. He's fast. He's technical. He definitely has a chance to get it done. I think it's a big ask because that's Jon Jones.
Well, as Jon Jones gears up for what could be the most anticipated fight of his career, the excitement of Joe Rogan and other pros says it all. They see this matchup not just as another title fight, but as a true test between the greatest of all time and the most dangerous new contender in the heavyweight division. With Aspinall's speed, power, and all-around skill, and Jones's unmatched fight IQ and legacy, this showdown could be one of the biggest moments in UFC history. So share your thoughts about this fight in the comments section, and make sure to subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos.